You know that feeling, right? You accidentally cut someone off in traffic and you think, oops, my bad, I'm in a huge hurry. But when someone does the exact same thing to you, your first thought is probably, what a complete jerk. Well, our brains are wired to do that. We're constantly trying to figure out the why behind what people do. And today, we're diving deep into the psychology of how we explain all that behavior and the stories we're constantly telling ourselves.
All right, let's jump right in with a super common scenario to see how our brains make these split-second judgments.
Okay, picture this. A student gets a low grade on a test. Why? What's your immediate gut reaction? The very first thing that pops into your head. Just think about it for a second.
So did you think of something like one of these? Our brains almost instantly leap to one of two types of conclusions. One explanation blames the person themselves, their character. The other one, it blames the situation they're in. And this little mental shortcut is running in the background all day, every day.
So this whole process of explaining things, it's not random. It's actually a fundamental part of how we navigate our social world. And, you guessed it, psychologists have a whole framework for it.
And it's called Attribution Theory. It goes way back to a psychologist named Fritz Heider, and it's basically the study of how we assign causes, or attributions, to everything that happens. You can think of it as our brain's operating system for creating a story that makes sense out of the chaos of daily life. And it really just boils down to those two paths we just saw. First, you've got internal or dispositional attribution. That's when we decide the cause is inside the person. It's about their personality, their effort, their natural talent. Then you've got external or situational attribution. That's when we say the cause is outside the person. The task was too hard, the environment was distracting, or it was just bad luck. Now here's the catch. This system is built for speed, not accuracy. It's not perfect. Our brains have these built-in glitches. Think of them like bugs in the software that psychologists call cognitive biases, and they systematically push our judgments in one direction over another. And the first major glitch kicks in the second we start trying to explain what other people are doing. We all have a default setting, and believe me, it is a powerful one. It's called the fundamental attribution error. This is a big one. It means we consistently overestimate how much a person's personality is a factor and totally underestimate the power of their situation. So that person who cut you off in traffic, our brain defaults to they're a selfish person, an internal cause, long before we'd ever consider, hey, maybe they're rushing to the hospital, an external cause. And what's really interesting is that this tendency is way stronger in individualistic cultures, like in the US and Western Europe. But, and this is where it gets really fascinating, the moment we turn that spotlight around on our own actions, that default setting just flips. Poof, gone. We have a completely different set of rules for ourselves. And this is called the self-serving bias. Shocker, right? When we succeed, when we absolutely ace that test, we take all the credit. We attribute it to our own internal qualities. I'm smart. I worked so hard. I'm naturally gifted at this. And of course we do. It feels amazing, and it's a great little defense mechanism for our self-esteem. But on the flip side, when we fail that exact same test, the script completely reverses. All of a sudden, it is not our fault. We blame external factors. The test was ridiculously unfair, the room was too loud, the teacher has it out for me. We protect our ego by pushing the cause outward, onto the situation. So, these mental shortcuts, they're not just some quirky psychological fun facts. The way we assign blame and credit has these profound real-world consequences that can shape everything from someone's freedom to their mental health. Let's start in the courtroom, because the kinds of attributions a jury makes about a defendant can literally be the difference between a lenient sentence and a very, very harsh one. So check this out. Studies show that when jurors make those dispositional attributions, when they believe a defendant acted because they are just a bad person, they tend to be way more punitive, and this can have deeply unequal impacts. For instance, research has found that for similar offenses, black youth are 1.4 times more likely than white youth to receive secure confinement, which is the most severe sanction possible. And it goes way beyond the courtroom. The stories we tell ourselves about our own lives have a powerful, direct effect on our psychological well-being. Our own personal attributional style can be a source of incredible resilience, or it can be a major risk factor for illness. Psychologists have actually identified something they call a depressive attributional style. It's this really toxic thought pattern where a person consistently explains negative events with causes that are internal, stable, and global. So they think, it's my fault. Then, it's going to last forever. And finally, it's going to affect everything I do. That kind of thinking, I failed because I'm stupid, I'll always be stupid, and this proves I'm a failure at everything, is a powerful vulnerability for developing clinical depression. And of course, it's not just about us. These biases also shape how we treat other people, and sometimes that has huge consequences, especially in a place like the classroom. Let's circle back to our student who failed the test. Research shows that a teacher is far more likely to fall into that fundamental attribution error trap. They'll probably conclude the student is lazy or just doesn't have the ability, internal factors, rather than asking, hey, maybe my teaching method wasn't effective, or maybe something is going on at home, external factors. And you can see how that single judgment could change how they support or don't support that struggling kid.
So when you boil it all down, these attributions are so much more than just simple explanations. They are the stories we write, second by second, to make sense of our entire world.
The story you choose, whether you credit your success to your own hard work or just dumb luck, whether you blame a failure on your own shortcomings or a tough situation, that choice directly shapes your confidence, your perseverance, and the very reality you experience every single day.
The good news is, just understanding that these biases exist is the first step. The next time you find yourself judging someone's actions, just pause. Force yourself to come up with at least one situational reason for their behavior. It's a small step, but it's a step toward writing a more compassionate and accurate story, for them and for you. So I'll leave you with this question. The stories you tell create your reality. What's your story?